Hello everyone and welcome to North Melbourne Station. Yes, we are on the Melbourne train network. Finally, after all these years of me never having been on them, I am finally here. And we are going to be riding all the train lines as I've done in every city I've visited. But it's going to take a while here, but we have a long time, so it's fine. Here we have a Extrapolis train on the Williamstown line, just departing. Looks very industrial here, but that's just how it is. Now, we're going down to platform 2 and we're going to be starting with the Upfield line. Now, all the train lines do start in the city. Well, not all of them. There's a lot of shuttle services, but the city is very complicated. There's 5 city stations on the city loop. Most of them all of them go to Flinders Street, really. But it's very complicated which direction they go in and stuff like that. But we're probably going to see a lot of the city, so we don't need to start every video of the city. So this is the first stop out of the city at North Melbourne. We're just going to start here for today. And we're going to take the Upfield line, which is probably one I'm going to feel the coolest being on, because there's a whole Tate Set video. Tate Set is a great channel about Melbourne transport. There's an entire video explaining the whole Upfield line. It was a really good video. I watched the whole thing. And I've seen so many different bits of it, and now I'm gonna get to see it all for myself. So we're gonna go all the way up to Upfield from North Melbourne over here, and it's probably gonna be a Commons train, yep, which is the oldest of the fleet since 1981, 10 years older than the A series, but they're still operating. They've been refurbished twice. They usually run in 6-car formations. There's 4 types of trains, and 3 of them are just 3 cars which run in 6. And then there's the HCMTs, which are the new ones, 7-car sets. Now the doors actually have to be opened manually, so you have to pull, which is so weird. Here we are. We're just here at North Melbourne. All these yellow lines are the northern group, but we're going up to Upfield, and then I'll do Craigieburn back down probably. But yeah, let's do that. Here we go, departing North Melbourne. This is already a massive station. There's so many lines that go here, 6 platforms. Now, my fellow enthusiasts which are here with me have already filmed a video actually here at North Melbourne Station. I'm going to link you to Biscuit in the Seas video at trains at North Melbourne, because I'm more filming the lines than the train stations. I might do that later. Now, most of the lines actually have 20-minute frequency in the off-peak, which is worse than Perth. But there's a lot of lines to cover, so that's why. There's all the V-line velocity over there. Alright, now for the first part of this line, we're going underneath the freeway, which is really cool. I mean, it looks really bad in terms of aesthetics, just concrete under the freeway, but it's just so weird that the train line is directly underneath. Here there's space to store the suburban trains too. You can see them in there. And they actually look a bit different. There's probably there's different stages of refurbishment for them. And here's the freeway above us on the bridge. And we go underneath. The the main river? No, it's not. It's a random creek. Alright, arriving at Macaulay. The station is like just literally under the freeway as well. And then there's a level crossing here. Oh dear. And this looks terrible as a station. Just freeway above. Waiting room. Here we are at Macaulay Station in the median of the freeway, but you might ask, where is the freeway? Well, it's above us. There's two separate bridges here carrying each side of the freeway, and the train line goes right underneath them with the gap in the middle there, because sometimes they run the heritage steam trains on this line, and then all the steam has to go up through the gap, which would be so weird to see it from the freeway. Another really ugly and terrible condition station, just a few stops out from the CBD, just like South Kensington on the Werribee-Williamstown lines. It's 3 stops out. There's a nice little stream there though, quite a rush of water making up for it. Continue. Now definitely go watch that Tate set video if you want like basically all of the history of the line explained and everything. I'm not going to be researching it all and talking about it or putting it on the screen. It's too much work to do all that. I'm just sharing my ride with you and what I see while I'm here. But I definitely recommend that channel. It's so interesting, everything he posts. One of my favorite YouTube channels, honestly.
Now arriving at Flemington Bridge.
Already at the next stop. Yep, we're gonna curve away from the freeway now. There it goes. It's actually so high up. And that freeway goes up towards, well, the airport and yeah, both Essendon and Melbourne Airport. This is Flemington Bridge. Alright, now we're gonna go through the parklands and through where Melbourne Zoo is, like right next to it. And there's a train station right outside the zoo, which is so useful as well. Plus there's a tram line running through there with many stops. So it's very interesting. There's the city and the tram down there as well. And the bike path. Wow, good views that way as well.
Arriving at Royal Park.
Yep, so the station is just in the middle of the park, which is so cool. It's such a weird place for the train to be running through. And there's the tram line below us. Really sharp curve. That's for Route 58. And there's the zoo entrance. Right there. There's a little road through here as well. Tram line and this train station. Now a lot of this line has had its level crossings recently removed, but there's still sections which haven't, so it's a lot of up and down onto the elevated sections, which is really representative of what the Armadale line is soon going to become in Perth. Now for almost the entirety of this line, we're going to be running parallel to tram route 19, but that obviously has way more stops, on like at least half the line.
Jewell.
And this place is, all the buildings are so close to the tracks, we're right in between them. see how many level crossings there are here. So much. That's why they removed it on further up the line, but this will be soon to come as well. Level crossings literally on both sides of the station. There's a bus there. And also for the whole of this way there's a narrow bicycle path running parallel to us on the other side.
Now arriving
Right
at
there.
Anstey.
And with the way the station spacing is here, you can basically race the train on your bike and kind of keep up almost the whole way, because the train keeps stopping, and then you can go straight through all the roads since the train will stop the traffic. Quite useful. Won't be like that anymore with the crossings removed though. And now we enter the level crossing removal sections.
Arriving at Moreland.
Climbing up the hill. Yep. Honestly, I've never been on trains which are just raised above ground like this for such a distance, and this is exactly what the Armadale line is going to be. It's going to be really cool. Here we are at Moreland Station, the first elevated station on the Upfield line. Terrible frequency. It's every like 15 to 20 minutes, even in peak periods. That's how bad it is. Because there's 3 northern groups, and this one is the least. Three lines in the northern group, and this one is the least patronized. So they give it such a terrible frequency, and surprisingly, the train's actually not even that packed, even on that frequency. So I guess it's warranted. I mean, it's still full, the seats are taken, but there's still tons of standing room. There's a city-bound service. There's actually a great view of the city over there. And then right under the station there is like a parkland and a playground under the tracks. So nice. But over here is the original station building for platform 1 before they did the elevation, which is so weird that they left it here. It looks so out of place. It's so weird. The tracks are just here, and they're actually still here. They left a tiny bit of track here to show where the trains used to run, and now they run right above. So weird. And the toilets are still operational. Just a bit of a shame the fence is at like eye level though, so you can't see the view properly.
Now arriving at Coburg.
Looks like exactly the same as typical with these kinds of stations. Now actually all the platforms and gaps are really bad on the whole network, so there's actually no accessible parts of the train except at the very front and the very back. They have a raised ramp and a door where you can bring your bikes and wheelchairs on, and if you need a ramp to cross the gap you need to go to the front, and then the driver will actually go out of the train and put it down for you, which is so weird. Okay, at least they made the design of the shelter a bit different to give it different character. Oh yeah, now this is where you go right next to some apartments here. Look at that. You're so close. All these people got a train that goes like right next to their windows once it was elevated. So bad. But now we're back down to ground level for a bit. And there's a level crossing right there.
Now arriving at Batman.
Batman. It's literally called Batman. This is Batman Station. Ah, it's island platform here. There goes the door closing. They do close by themselves, but you have to pull them open. This is the only type of train you have to do that on, which is such a strange thing. I didn't even know that stuff like that existed. But they're really loose though. It just takes a bit of a slight push and you can do it. And it's not like it's heavy. So many level crossings. They've already built so many new stations to remove them, but they still have so many more to go. It's crazy how many there is.
Now arriving at Merlynston.
Perth doesn't even have that much. The announcements on these Commons trains are like okay, the speaker quality is just bad, but the announcements on the Extrapolis sound so like AI or like just all mashed together, different ones. It does not sound good. You'll hear it once you see those videos, which will be after this, of course. It's so weird. The Extrapolis are like mainly running on all the eastern lines, as well as Williamstown and I don't know where else. I haven't observed it properly, but all these Commons oldest trains run on the northern groups, which are the Sunbury, Craigieburn and Upfield lines. Yeah, the lines are all separated into like colored groups. So you have the northern group, which is those three lines I just said, which are all yellow, and they like through run with each other once they get to Flinders Street, although it's basically like going back up in the same direction, so most of the time it would just be faster to get a bus across. Then you have the, well, that's like northwestern, and then you have the northeastern groups, which are red, dark red, which are the Hertzbridge and Merndale lines. And then you have those eastern groups, which I was just talking about, which are the Lilydale, Belgrave, and Alamein and Glenwavery lines. And then the southern
Now
line
arriving at Fawkner.
is the Frankston line, which is like the dangerous one, like the Armadale line in Perth, which also has a shuttle as a diesel train operating very limited frequency to Stony Point after Frankston. There's also a southeastern line, which are the blue groups operated by the newest HCMT trains there, the Cranbourne and Pakenham lines. And then finally we have the western group, which through run with the Frankston line most of the time, which are the Williamstown and Werribee lines. And those are all of the suburban train lines in Melbourne. I don't know, there's one more, which is the Sandringham line going along the beach just south of the city. And there's also a spur to Flemington racecourse used only on event days. And then of course there's all the regional velocity, V-line lines, which are all the same price as Metropolitan, so you can literally go anywhere in the state for whenever you want, casually. It just takes a while, of course. Here we go, this is Fawkner, which is kind of like the Karrakatta of Melbourne. The cemetery is right there, you walk straight into it. Yeah, if you don't know, Karrakatta is a station in Perth on the Fremantle and Airport lines, which is also right next to a cemetery like that. So really these videos are all just for me to compare what's going on here to what's going on in Perth, because there's obviously already so much Melbourne content on YouTube, but I'm experiencing it all for myself, so you see what it's like from my perspective. Okay, was that the only level crossing removal bit then where we were before? I thought it was a lot more up and down, but I think that'll be in the future once they do more. For the moment there isn't much more. We only have 2 stops left now. This is a really big cemetery.
Now arriving at Gowrie.
Oh gosh, that line. So bad. They need to remove the rest of the crossings. But then of course that means shutdowns, but not that long. In Perth they do full 18 months, there's just no trains. But here what they usually do is just build the elevated bits like next to the current bit in the rail reserve, and then only the current bit has to close for just like a few weeks, if not less. Although you obviously need a wide rail reserve for that, which isn't always possible. Oh dear, this is like the worst station I've seen so far. Look at that shelter. It's the smallest little metal roof. This station is so bad.
The next station is Upfield. This train will be terminating at Upfield.
Okay, that's actually a proper shelter there, but it still looks pretty bad. The bus 536, oh, it actually goes to this station, wow. And another one, 527. That's the BZL electric bus. That announcement is so weird. It says the next station is Upfield. This train will terminate at Upfield. How about you just say where this service terminates? Like what? And that's the only time it says next station actually. Otherwise it never says it. It only says now arriving at. Again, it is actually quite a long section. Up to Upfield. Up to Upfield. It also looks like it's single track from here on. We're gonna go under the freeway right now. Another freeway. There's so many freeways though. It's hard to, over. Keep track of them all. There it is. Very busy. And there's another major road here. And this time we go under it. Overall, this line doesn't look that great. It's very squished and it's just industry and a lot of graffiti concrete all the way along. But I think a lot of the lines are like that, honestly. A lot of Melbourne is like that. There are nice areas, but near the train lines, it's not really that great. And then you have these old trains in it, and then it just feels so much more downgraded than Perth. But it's not bad. It's still good. You just gotta get used to it. Yeah, see, this is actually a really long section. There's not even a fence like anywhere along here. You can just walk onto the train tracks from the suburb. You would never see stuff like this in Perth. And these crossings, look, there's no gates or anything. There's always like barbed wire heavy fencing on Perth train lines.
Now arriving at Upfield. This train will be terminating at Upfield.
Arriving at the terminus. Now this is really close to the Craigieburn Line. In fact, the track does continue beyond this point and connect up to it, but trains don't run that section anymore. Only 1.8 kilometers over to the west is the Craigieburn Line at Roxburgh Park Station. Well, no, Coolaroo Station. But if you continue along the tracks, you get to Roxburgh Park, which is the second last stop on the Craigieburn Line. But there's also V-Line trains there, which you can take further up. Arrived at Upfield. Gonna get out now. Pull the doors open. And since the doors are like that, you can just close them yourself. Or like only close them halfway if you want. It's so weird. Let's take a shot at the front. There's a level crossing right here as well. Still got these flip-top destos, not on all of them though. Some of them have a new desto like in the window, which which can scroll, but not here. City Loop stops all stations. Yeah, it's gonna do the full loop once it gets back to the city. Let's touch off. I just got a week pass, so it's all fine. Here's the waiting room. And we go outside. It's just a field. Exactly as the name suggests. It's an empty field. There is nothing. Oh gosh, this looks so bad. It's an empty field, a top field. There's a few buildings over there. Otherwise, it's really not that nice. And there's some buses, of course. Now this level crossing actually has traffic lights as well, but it's just for the pedestrian crossing. Otherwise, there's no other purpose of these traffic lights. Let's get across here. We can get a shot of the train here too. I don't know if they run any other types of trains up here, but all I've seen in the northern group so far are just these Comenge trains. Terrible bus interchange as well. Yeah, that's just a car park. There's nothing here. This is not a nice place. I might go back down a few stops. It's also exactly midday right now and it's 30 degrees today. The weather in Melbourne is crazy. Like yesterday, the maximum was like 18 degrees. And now today it's 30. Tomorrow it's like 36. Ridiculous. Yep. Why did they go down a whole minute early? Well, enjoy waiting for a minute, everyone.